Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Friday. I hope everyone has had a good week. Um, I've been quite busy this week, just getting a lot of work done. Um, yeah, it's been a pretty good week. Today we had our first below freezing day here in New Hampshire, which is kind of late actually. Usually we have some temperatures that are below freezing before this late in October, but this morning there was frost on the ground and it was like 28 degrees. So getting a little cold. Fall's at the end here, which means that since we're at the end of October, it's Halloween this weekend. I'm actually taking the kids out tonight. The town we live in closes down Main Street, and they do like a little trick or treating for everyone with all the shops on Main Street. They hand out candy and stuff like that. So taking the kids out there this week tonight, and then they'll go on trick or treating on Halloween on Sunday as well. Which kind of brings me to a side topic, not the main topic I want to talk about today, but a side topic is kind of I think Halloween is the unofficial start of the holiday season. Um, and that can be challenging for a lot of people when it comes to their health goals, and things like that. With all the yummy stuff that's around, it starts with Halloween and candy and parties, and then Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. So it can be a bit of a challenging season, and I'll probably create a whole separate video around that. But I think, and the short of that, approaching that, those challenges coming up is, remember, these are just 3 or 4 or 5 maybe days out of 365 days. That means you have 360 other days in a year. And if on those days you choose to indulge a little bit, that it's not going to be the end of the world. And there's no right answer as far as how to handle these situations. I think some people choose abstinence, where they just, you know, I'm not going to indulge at all. I'm going to stick to my normal routine and etc. Other people choose to enjoy themselves greatly and celebrate the holiday and the food, and that means the food and the family and the drinks and all that stuff that are around. And I think that's okay too. There are advantages and disadvantages to both approaches. But I think that whatever you do, the most important thing is on the rest of the days between now and after New Year's, um, is that you don't turn those days into celebrations either. Right? So the worst thing you could possibly do is turn the next 2 months plus into just one party after the next, where it's all the candy, all the yummy food, all the drinks, multiple times a week. And I know it can seem like that, especially as we get towards Christmas, where there's, holiday after holiday party for friends and family and different parts of the family, and traveling all around, and you're going this way and that way and that way. You're getting invited to 4 or 5 or 6. It seems like a holiday party every week. And unfortunately, when you're getting to that situation, you got to pick and choose which ones you really want to indulge in, and which ones you want to just kind of, you know, not indulge in. Don't go off off your normal eating pattern. So, you know, pick and choose your battles is basically the my mantra to this. Don't let every celebration turn into a reason to enjoy all kinds of crazy food, because by you know the end of January you'll find yourself in a pretty bad situation. So, but that's not really what I want to talk about today. What I did want to talk about today was more around sleep. And something I've been talking to quite a few clients as of lately, but I think it's something that's relevant to everyone. One of the hardest things I find when it comes to making changes to someone's lifestyle is making changes to their sleep. And I think that's largely due to our body's just unconscious habits that we get into around sleep. So if you just take the simple example of trying to shift your bedtime or wake time, right? What time you go to bed and what time you wake up. I mean, if you just try to go to bed 30 minutes earlier, it seems like a pretty reasonable and achievable goal. But you are probably going to sit in bed and just lay there wide awake for 30 minutes before you actually fall asleep. And I think that's just purely because your body has gotten used to going to bed at whatever time you've been going to bed for months at this point, right? So shifting that just 30 minutes can be, just extremely hard to get used to. And this is just, completely, relevant, when you travel across time zones, right? When you start shifting time zones and you start to try to go to bed or shift your sleep wake up, this is why we have jet lag, right? Because your body takes a long time to adjust to the new time zone, and you can't fall asleep at the right time. You wake up at the wrong time, right? And so when you try to do that to yourself, just for your own benefit, right, to get more sleep, your body it's not used to it, so it tries to it takes a while to get used to it. It might take 2 or more weeks for someone to just shift their bedtime 30 minutes earlier in one direction or another. So it can be quite frustrating, right? And quite, because you're literally just sitting in bed, there's nothing you can do about it. And then you start ruminating about the fact that you're not falling asleep, and you get upset about it, and that makes it even harder to fall asleep, and etc. Right? So it's just it's a very hard thing to do. And I think our body has a lot of habits around sleep. And the same thing might be true for, like, lots of people complain about waking up in the middle of the night, right? And if you ever kind of look at the times you wake up, which I don't suggest you do, I think that's probably one of the worst things you can probably do when it comes to sleep is when you wake up to look at the time. But if you happen to take note of the time that you wake up, you might notice that no matter what, you're always waking up at the same time every night, right? And I think that's just purely because your body gets used to, you fall into this habit of waking up at this time, right? And so all of a sudden you're awake, right? And maybe it's because of some other reason. Maybe it's, something to do with the food you ate for a few weeks straight or something like that that kept waking you up, and it happened to be at the same time. But then you fix the underlying problem that's waking you up, and all of a sudden you're still waking up at the same time, even though you took away the problem, right? And I think it's just because your body is now fallen into this pattern of waking up at that time, so it just wakes up, right? And you get up, right? So again, you make a change, you solve the underlying issue, you're still waking up, but it might take you another 2 or more weeks to kind of eliminate that wake up time. So your body realizes, like, oh, I don't need to wake up at this time. I can just stay asleep. So, and oftentimes I also see it another reason, like you don't understand why you might be waking up in the middle of the night, right? Like, oh, I'm waking up. All of a sudden I started waking up twice during the night, and I wasn't waking up before, and I don't understand why. In your initial, at least, a lot of people's initial thing to do is trying to fix the problem. Well, what's wrong? Why am I waking up? What, is my drinking too much water? Is it this thing? Is it that thing? Am I stressed about this, that, thing? And what I've learned to do for myself is that sometimes things just happen with your sleep pattern, and it's worse to stress out about them rather than to just let them be and see if they resolve themselves after some time, right? So sometimes I fall into a pattern where I only wake up once a night, right? Or no times a night for a few weeks. And then all of a sudden I'm waking up twice a night for like a month, right? And in the past I used to try and figure out why, why am I waking up all of a sudden for two times during the night? And I never come up with a reason. I found myself just stressing about it and getting frustrated about it and making things worse. And then all of a sudden it would just solve itself, right? All of a sudden it would just go away. So my inclination around those types of things is like, okay, you've noticed a change in your sleep pattern for better or worse, but instead of trying to just like dissect that and figure it all out and get down to the root cause of the problem, it's better to just let it sit and just say, okay, this is happening. I've taken note of it. Let's see how this trends over the next few weeks, right? Does it go away? Does it get worse? Does it get better? And after a month or so, if the problem is still there, if it's a problem, not an improvement, then maybe then you can start thinking about, okay, what have I changed over the past month that maybe is contributing to this change in the way I'm sleeping? Because it might just be a fluke. It might just be, some weird thing, some weird pattern, and then trying to get to the bottom of it might just be, doing more harm than good. So, um, I think overall, my message here when it comes to diagnosing things around sleep or making changes around sleep is the best thing you can do is be patient, and the best thing you can do is not stress about it. Because the more impatient you are, the more levers you start pulling quicker and quicker and quicker without giving your body a chance to adapt, and the more stress you get about maybe things not working or things getting worse before they get better, or that type of stuff, the worse things are going to get. So you just really need to have patience. You need to be very calm about it and thoughtful about it. And I feel like when you take that approach, you're much more successful when it comes to making changes to sleep or analyzing things that are happening during your sleep, rather than trying to overanalyze and overcomplicate things that are doing and try to do too much at once, right? So that's kind of my message for today. Just something I've been noodling on. Hope you found it useful. If you have any questions or comments about that, or have any suggestions or other things around sleep, happy to help out with that. So please leave comments or message me directly. I'm always happy to chat about that stuff. If you want to get all the content that I put out on a weekly basis delivered right to your inbox without having to stalk me on social media, please go to my website at rjbhealth.coach. Click the newsletter link, enter your email address, and you can sign up for the newsletter, and I will email you all the great stuff, rather than you having to follow along on social media and potentially miss things. If you're interested in doing some one-on-one coaching, whether it's related to sleep or nutrition or exercise or all kinds of things, I'm happy to take on new clients right now. So head over to my website again. Again, it's rjbhealth.coach, and select right on the homepage. There's a schedule a discovery call. You can fill out the form there, and I'll get back in touch with you and can talk more about that. With that, I hope everyone has a happy Halloween, and I will talk to you all next week.